Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Kashif Abdullah. I'm speaking to you today. It is April 1st, 2020. I'm right now at home. And if anyone is out there wishing to ask questions, I will look back and forth on the live stream. Let's see. I'll just say hello here. And if anyone has any questions, they can ask. Please feel free to ask. So I've been doing these. I'm trying to do these daily question answers um, for the past couple of weeks. We do this from 12:30 to 1 o'clock, and if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me here, or you can direct message me through YouTube. And I'm trying to help as many people as I can. So actually, I did want to speak to you again. I was going to go over what the daily numbers have been, and there was a great video I recently watched. Actually, it just came out today. It's actually on Vox, VOX, and it's about the difference between the coronavirus, how the coronavirus is not the flu, and how thinking if it's the flu, that can be dangerous. That gives us a false sense of security, because the flu and coronavirus are actually very different. They start off differently. They have some similar features, but they're actually different. And it basically I'll show it to you. It goes through various concepts, such as how infective the flu is compared to coronavirus, and then what is the incubation period and why we have to be so concerned about it. And then it also speaks about the difference between herd immunity, an immunity you gain by in vaccinating people in the community, and then them preventing that virus or problem from going around, to to social distancing, which is like herd immunity, is a sort of same thing like herd immunity, but for the coronavirus. And let's see. Oh, I'm getting some questions about if a doctor tells you you're positive, what do you? I'll talk to you also about. There's a WhatsApp. I'll speak to you about that. So let's see. Let me just mention. Let's see. Please watch video. Please watch a video. I'll try to answer. Let's see. I'll try to answer your question as well. Okay. All right. So let's see. Oh, 1 second. Sorry. So I just got a real quick question. I know you're answering the question about wearing N95, but what about wearing gloves publicly? Do you recommend? Oh, well, I would say regarding the issue of wearing gloves publicly, um, you know what? It comes down to this. If you wear gloves, fine, that's good. But you got to change the gloves. If you wear these gloves and you touch your face and you touch your nose, well, it's the same thing. It doesn't matter that you're wearing gloves, because coronavirus is not going to go through your skin and give you the infection. It's going to give you the infection if you have active droplets or wet droplets, and then you smear your nose or your eyes or what have you. That's how you get the infection. So wearing gloves is all fine and dandy, but then you've got to be readily changing those gloves every single time. Now, when I see a patient, and I have to be, when I see a patient, and I am even before the coronavirus, usually it's called general precautions. So if I see somebody and I know I'm going to be in contact with their fluids somehow, so that could be their blood, their mucus, or other fluids that come out of other orifices. If I know I'm going to be in contact with those fluids, then I need to use protection against myself, because what happens if I have a cut or something? But for coronavirus, no, you can wear gloves, but frankly, washing your hands is more important than wearing gloves. You've got to wash your hands. And if you're wearing gloves, okay, fine. You got to remove them all the time. You wore gloves, you did something, change them. But it's so much easier just to wash your hands than just to wear gloves all day. So, and let me quickly answer that other question that was on this. The question was on this WhatsApp was, if a doctor tells you have positive but mild symptoms, what does that mean? Well, that means you have a coronavirus if you have tested positive, and you should be, frankly, in isolation because you're in the incubation stage. So if you have a positive result but mild symptoms, you need to be isolated. You specifically need to be isolated, and you need to be isolated for until all the mild symptoms are gone. And then after the mild symptoms are gone, then you need to stay at least again 14 days away from anybody else, and then you need to be tested again for coronavirus technically. And Dr. Fauci, who is the head of the CDC, or who comes up and does those daily talks, stated that you would need 2 confirmatory tests 24 hours later. So all the symptoms are gone, 14 days, you're in isolation, then 2 tests 24 hours apart of COVID-19 tests. So that's what you need to do if you have mild symptoms. Actually, an example of this, a prime example, is both the Prime Minister of Canada's wife, Sophie Trudeau, I believe her name is, and I think that's her name, and Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson, who is his wife. In regards to Justin Trudeau's wife, she came out positive, had mild symptoms, isolated herself in a room for 14 days, and I think she's supposed to be coming out of isolation now, but the Prime Minister and his kids were totally away. She was in a room dealing with her symptoms. They didn't get worse, they were just mild, and now I think she needs 2 more tests. And then for Tom Hanks, the same thing. He and his wife stayed in, I believe, Australia, I think, for 14 days after the symptoms had gone away, and now they were back in the States. They're back in LA. So if you have mild symptoms and you're positive, you need to stay away, and that's part of the social distancing. So let's look at today's numbers. Let's see what today's numbers show. Oh, sorry, I have to switch. This thing has to switch. Oh, wait a second. We'll make it like this so it's more convenient. Where are we? There we go. Hopefully it shows up. Okay. So let me restart this page and show you what the world numbers are. So we are at 911,000 cases. That's steadily increasing. And we're almost at 1 million. The good news, if it is good news, is, well, there's about 6 to 7 billion people on the planet. And only 1 million of us have been contracted, so that's something good, if that's something. But yes, we've got an increased it's still going up. So if we look at the United States, they have been for some couple of days number 1, and they are almost double Italy's number, which is bad, not good. And they're almost as much as Italy and Spain almost combined, and frankly they will be by tomorrow. They'll be more than Italy and Spain combined, which is not good. So the US is now the epicenter of, and has been for some time, for the coronavirus. And if you look at the US itself, more specifically, it's New York City, or New York itself, actually New York City. So if you look here, the total number of deaths are at 1,139. And if we go to New York itself, you'll notice that there is, that's NASA, not Manhattan, which is the really infected cases. There it is. So 44,915 cases confirmed in New York City alone. So that's like a quarter of the US cases are just in New York City alone, just the city. Forget the county. If you go to right here, it's like an 8,000 in Nassau, and I think this is Suffolk, is 6,000. And then New Jersey, close by, 1,900, not too bad, but still. And then Another part of New Jersey, 3,400. So this is the real hotbed or epicenter of the entire coronavirus. So, it's basically just showing you where the population density centers are in the world, or in the country. If we look at the daily numbers, and that's what I always look at. I actually look at this to tell me what's happening, because this gives you a little bit more closer view. And you'll notice here, well, the U.S. is still increasing their daily numbers, unfortunately. I was thinking here this day before that, oh, maybe we've topped out. No, they still increase. So we're still in the thick of these things, and it's getting. And if you think about it, well, let's see, this is the 18th, so 14 days, that's 2 weeks, so we're looking about what, the 16th or what have you, something like that. Around here, technically, this is where it starts getting really bad. And this is sort of the incubation phase. Most people are saying in the world, right about now, the most number of cases should be present. So it's going to get the worst right about now this week. Maybe my next week it'll be better. But let's look at Italy. Italy is actually better. I was looking at these numbers before, and Italy is actually controlling their numbers. You see that in Italy, their daily increases of numbers of cases are falling, and have been for some time. So this is not a fluke. Italy is doing something. They're over their little hump. It looks like maybe they will start to control this. It looks like they will control this faster than America. They had it before the U.S., like the increase happened before the U.S., but the U.S. is basically what most people have said is the U.S. is like 2 weeks behind Italy. So I don't know. That's a sad fact if that's the case, because there's going to be way more cases. We're going to hit maybe 300,000 in the U.S. alone, and in Spain, you can see it's about the same as about here. Let me quickly look at if there's any questions. No, there's no new questions. So again, if anyone has any questions, they can ask me on the live stream. But if it comes to you, I'll be checking back and forth. Or if you want, there's a WhatsApp that the group WhatsApp that we've been using. Looks like China. I don't really I don't know exactly what to make of that. Really, if that is that accurate or not. If that is, that's good. But Germany is doing really well. Actually, looks like they've begun to control, just like Italy. France is not. Unfortunately, they're still increasing. Maybe if you want to use the trend, maybe exponentially, you could still say. Iran is so far so good, the same. And the United Kingdom, let's see, we're still about the same. We haven't dropped off yet. Switzerland is decreasing. That's good. So Turkey still increasing. Belgium, we've got a good sizable drop. Hopefully that continues. The Netherlands, same thing. South Korea is the story that we should all try to follow. If you see them, they really damn controlled it. So it looks like this is what we're supposed to be looking for. So they're doing well. So I think they're likely in the world, South Korea is the place that is controlled it the best. And Canada, unfortunately, is still in the thick of it. It's increasing. Remember, the population size in Canada is much smaller than, say, the rest of the world. There are only 36 million people in Canada, and they're still they're about the same. But we have to keep on. We have to see a trend. There's no trend yet so far. There's slight drops, but we have to say multiple days sustained drops. Portugal and what have you. So I wanted to speak to you about this video. I think it's a great video. It's called here, "The Coronavirus is not the flu, it's worse," by Vox. They just released it today. And basically what the video speaks of is the infectious rate of the virus. So what happens is, what they were speaking of, that the seasonal flu has an infection rate of about 1.3. So that means for every person that's infected with flu, 1.3 persons would be infected. So not too bad, but for coronavirus, it's worse. It's 2. So that means basically for every infected person, 2 people will be infected, which is not good because it's doubling. That means it'll give an exponential rate, whereas the flu is not going to give you an exponential rate. It'll give you sort of a linear rate. The coronavirus is going to give you an exponential rate, so it's going to go double every single time. So that's why coronavirus is so dangerous compared to the flu. It's not the flu, it's much more dangerous. And one of the primary reasons that it's so dangerous is because we've never seen this virus. The human body, we don't have a vaccine, and the human body has never seen this. So we're all brand new to this, and that's why it's growing exponentially. I used to be a microbiologist I did that as a major in university. I graduated with that. And when you are growing bacteria or yeast cells or anything, there is an exponential phase. There's a lag phase, and then an exponential phase, and then a plateau phase. So you grow yeast, like it takes a couple of, like maybe the first hour, first 2-3 hours, it takes 2-3 hours just to double from that. And then in the next 2-3 hours, it doubles every like 30 to 15 minutes. It grows really, really fast, and then it plateaus because most of the food in the culture that you're growing has been used up. So for coronavirus, technically we're the food. So either if we leave it unchecked, it will only stop growing when it runs out of us to infect. And you saw that there is approximately there's 7 billion of us, and it's only infected of confirmed cases about 1 million. So we don't want it to just go hog wild. We want to really control it. So there's that. The next thing the video did speak about was let's see, I'm just skipping through. Most is just the flu deaths and how fast coronavirus is going to kill. And then this is very important. I like this little graphic really quick. And I'm gonna here. So if you look at this graphic, I'll just show you really quick. What does this mean? The top one is flu, the bottom one is COVID-19. They explain this in the video, but I just sharing their video. That's a good video. COVID-19, if you look at it, this from here to here is when you feel sick, as you compare to the flu. Look, so the flu, you get infected, and you feel sick the next day. And then your symptoms are getting hopefully better. Whereas COVID-19, you get infected, but you got this long incubation period where you feel sick. And during this time period, when you're not feeling sick, this is a likelihood that you have a chance to spread the disease. This is why this is one of the reasons, not the main reason, but this is one of the reasons why the doubling rate for flu is like 1 to every 1.3 people, and the COVID-19 virus is 1 in every 2. Meaning it takes it takes every 2 people it doubles every it'll infect every 1 person will infect 2 people, as opposed to 1 person will infect 1.3 persons. Yeah. So then the video speaks about immunity, and there was a WhatsApp talking about this herd immunity idea. About, can we just use herd immunity? And in herd immunity, what that basically means, if there's a good graphic, I'll show you there. So basically, if you immunize someone, you create this little like boundary. You see this boundary that's being created? This boundary that's being created is the herd. So that means this infected person who has the flu vaccine, this person has been vaccinated for flu, or has had the flu and has gotten over it and it now has the antibodies. So when this person interacts with this person won't infect this person because they can't get infected. So it's basically like herding them. It's like blocking them. But we don't have a flu vaccine, a COVID-19 vaccine, or we don't have a natural immunity to this new virus. So the problem is there's no herd immunity. So how do we set up a herd immunity? Meaning, how do we make this so it doesn't spread? What we do is we use social distancing, which is why that's so important. So they're just showing here basically the infection is just going hog wild. It's going everywhere. There's no way of stopping it. But social distancing will basically, and they're talking about fatality rate and how dangerous it is. But where is that little graphic with the social distancing? There. What this is trying to show you is if you socially distance yourself, right? by blocking yourself off. That's basically a physical wall. And that's an infected person. Well, if that infected person doesn't touch you or talk you, or there's no way for the virus to go through walls, that's not possible. Well, then that person, the infection stays with that person. So either that person gets better and it fights off the virus and it's gone and builds an immune system, immune response to the COVID-19, or the person passes away. One way or the other, the virus is not spread. Passing away part is not good, obviously. So that's why social distancing is like herd immunity. So if all these people are blocked off, you see, they're all blocked off, and only these people are isolated, then that's like herd immunity. You don't have the ability, the virus does not have a chance of infecting this person right here that's away from this wall, or this person, or this person. So social distancing is our best bet. That's the only way we can slow this horrible virus down. We're still dealing with this, and let me 1 second. Let me go to this and go to this. There we go. So, we're trying our best to control this problem, and it's gonna take time, and I don't know how long this is gonna. Well, I have a guess. I guess this is my guess of how long this is gonna take. My guess is this is gonna take until I don't know. Let's see. So let's think forward. Okay. So if the total number in the U.S. able to use the U.S. the total number of cases top out in the next 2 weeks. I hope so. That's the middle of April, and then it begins to fall. That's another 2 weeks to a month. We're now looking in the middle of May. Then if there is no more increase in new cases, so we're looking in the middle of May, and now we're looking for people to either get over this disease or unfortunately pass. That can take about, I don't know, it can be another month. Let's say another month. Let's make that estimation. Middle of June, so by July. Maybe by July we're through this insanity, and the world, I would assume the world will actually get will get over this way faster than the US. And I would say maybe by June for the rest of the world, but for the US, because their public health is not so good and they don't have as many measures as the rest of the world that has single payer medicine or the ability to treat everybody. I would say the US would likely, maybe if we're lucky, the beginning of July to the beginning of September. So, oops, that's somebody needs a refill. So, let's not make that person go away. Go away. Yeah. How does that go away? Anyway, oh, yeah, good. You can't see that. Oops. Okay, you want to see my face. Sorry, that was an email from a patient. So, yeah, hopefully we get through this. Again, if you have any questions, I'm here. You can leave comments below, or you can direct message me on YouTube, or you could just ask me questions. I'm always available. Again, thank you very much. That'll be the end of today. Thanks. Bye-bye.